there, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what is going on with your monthly astrological forecast for February 2022. And just a quick reminder for you, if you ever want to get a session with me, you do need to go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com, or you can follow the links in the down bar below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Comment even, because, engagement, of course, helps this channel out a lot. And so, with all the housekeeping out of the way, what's going on with your February? February itself is actually an overwhelmingly positive month for everybody. We've got a lot of big breakthroughs going on, and it's really the month where it feels like the new year actually begins. All of the debris and the detritus of the last few years, and especially January, are getting just cleared out and displaced by a lot of the new focus that's coming in. And a lot of this is centered on your 8th house of shared resources, passive or self-employment income, as well as intimacy and your own erotic life, your romantic life, especially as it relates to intimacy, and your 9th house of higher education, government legal proceedings, travel, your reach, your territory, and your spiritual path and practice. And this is really, really emphasized this month. And when it comes to the 8th house, right, intimacy, self-employment monies, passive income, and things like that, we've got Venus direct in Capricorn here all month. We've also got Mars in Capricorn all month, and we've got Mercury direct after the 3rd through the 14th, all working over that 8th house. So with Venus in the 8th house of intimacy and sensuality and eroticism and sexuality, yes, that's what it's about. Hey. We've got, Persephone's like, what are you talking about? We've got this big focus on attraction of new ways to get a sense of deeper fulfillment from our own romantic life. And for, Venus, the planet of love, popularity, favor, and affection, is transforming the love languages that you are expressing and you are receiving from partners. In fact, for a lot of you Gemini people, this could be incredibly stimulating, because this is also giving you a chance to take a walk on the wild side, as it were, with a partner, or even do a bit of fantasy fulfillment, right? Really breaking down walls to deeper intimacy. For those of you that are single or available to new people, you're going to be drawing in closer people that are already sort of on the same page with you. And for those of you that have been speaking to people more recently, a lot of walls to that kind of openness and that kind of tenderness, and again, that kind of erotic exchange are coming down. Mars here is bringing the passion, the courage, the drive, and the energy to take those steps for everybody all month. Just make sure that we keep a sense of, other priorities in our life, because with Mars and Venus here, sometimes what can happen is the wild and the can, sometimes take over a bit too much of our psyche. And so we want to make sure that we are letting ourselves have fun, right? We are letting that action, energy, passion, and obstacle clearing energy really go to work for us. But we also want to make sure that we understand that Mars is serving us in another way as well, because Mars in the 8th house is also wonderful for your self-employment ventures and passive income, breaking glass ceilings when it comes to any kind of monies you are trying to attract or draw into your life or into your home that are not necessarily a part of your standard hourly or salary income. This can also be a great time for those of you who are self-employed, looking to maybe raise your prices, draw in, more of a competitive market to yourself so that you can strut your stuff, or even drum up some venture capital with which you can use to invest in yourself or to make some bigger strides in your industry or in your field. However, I will say with Mars in the 8th house, we got to be a little careful when it comes to any kind of investments we are taking on or loans. It's really easy to take more than we need, and we don't want to have to clean that up later. However, Mars is still working for you here in both respects. And so it's like your sex life and your financial life are going through a major big boost. A major big boost. That's great grammar, Nico. Mercury here is speeding up the accumulation of wealth for you between the 3rd and the 14th of the month, right? Planet of communications, haste, and productivity is speeding up the payoff for a lot of projects or maybe a lot of seeds that you have planted in recent months or even recent years when it comes to your personal investments, your personal enterprises, as well as giving you an opportunity to start growing things that have maybe stayed small for too long. With Mercury in the 8th house, if we've been, kind of thinking about, is it time to take a certain business or creative project or investment to a new level? Mercury here is also helping you speed that up and do it in a way that is safe and sane and profitable. But we're also seeing, because Mercury has got the boost of Venus and Mars between the 3rd and the 14th of the month, you may actually be exceeding your own goals or exceeding your own expectations with the seeds that are getting planted or getting nourished or taken care of at this time. This is also going to be a time where business partnerships are going to be thriving, so any kind of business alliances that you have, whether they are tight, established, fighting back to back, brothers and sisters in arms kind of business partnerships, or they are collaborations and alliances that are going to just be there to mutually enhance all parties. This is going to be the month where you really want to let yourself circulate. We also have the Sun in Aquarius through the 18th of the month. This is your 9th house of higher education, government legal proceedings, travel, as well as culture and your spiritual path and practice. With the Sun in the 9th house, a lot of you Gemini people are going to find that you are getting a chance to have your day in the sun. This is a discovery kind of aspect where we are discovered for our talents. We are discovered for what makes us unique, what sets us apart from everyone else, what actually gives us a bit of an edge on the competition in business. But also, if it's not about competition, for those of you that have maybe been putting yourselves out there, you may be noticing that it's a great time to bring in awareness to your own pursuits, your own projects, things that you've been trying to publicize, you've been trying to get the right attention for, or maybe things that you've been trying to promote on behalf of others or an entire group that you're in. And you're also going to find that more value is coming to the education that you have, the field that you work in, or what you bring and provide to the world. This is also a wonderful time for those of you that maybe have been thinking about getting more serious with a certain corner of your spiritual path or practice. And if I may sound like a big nerd, yes, there is a big power level boost going on this month for those who are serious about their practice and the practice of applied metaphysics. You may be noticing some major activations and some big real spiritual skills, not personal development skills passed off as spiritual skills, but real spiritual skills, real woo-woo stuff turning on for you this month, or maybe even just leveling up or becoming, or ranking up this month. We also have Mercury here in the second half of the month from the 14th through the end of February. And with Mercury in the 9th house, we are also speeding up progress with perhaps some kind of to-do or some kind of agenda that has been going way too slowly, whether it relates to your education, your travel plans, your spiritual life, maybe something that you are trying to popularize and make a name for, something you're trying to do to expand your reach, expand your territory, whether it's, has to do with just community in general or your professional life. Mercury is finally working for you in a way where you are getting a chance to see the payoff and the payout of this a lot more quickly. We're also wrapping up a lot of old business here. Mercury is all about resolution in the 9th house. And so if there's any kind of unfinished business that ties you to maybe a professional or legal or government agreement or permit or boundary in the past, Mercury is going to help you not only resolve that, but get it cleared away so that you can finally step onto something brand new. And this can also be a month where a lot of you have been thinking about making some kind of big moves or big travel plans in the near future, really shipping off, whether it's a permanent move or maybe you're just trying to close the distance between yourself and another person, or maybe set up a home away from home, a new home base or whatever. This is going to be the month where you're getting a chance to get all of those pieces together and all lined up. After the 18th of the month, we've got the Sun moving into Pisces, your 10th house of career, upward mobility, status, station, and the mark you're making on the world. And when the sun goes into our 10th house, we see the value that we are getting for our work, what we provide to our industry, to our field, to the office, go on the rise. And this, of course, means that not only what we're putting out there or the team we're a part of or the collaboration that we're in or the department we work in starting to become more valued in general, but a lot more incentive, a lot more pay, a lot more appreciation is also coming towards us. Things are getting lifted up in terms of quality of life, and you may also be finding that as we go through the end of February and even into March, because this will be a theme of March as well, some very strong promotional aspects are also going to be occurring here. A lot of new promotional opportunities are going to get seeded at this time, whether it's giving you a chance to rise through the ranks or simply actually achieve a higher status or station in your field or in a chosen field. This is going to be a time for, no pun intended, you and your corner of your field, you and your corner of your passion, your industry, your creativity, whatever you're trying to put out there will have its day in the sun. We also have a very special event this month. Jupiter in Pisces, your 10th house of career, upward mobility, status and station, your earning power, forming a gorgeous sextile to Uranus, the planet of innovation, experimentation, spontaneity, and revelation, and invention. In your 12th house of your past, privacy, hidden zone, things going on behind the scenes, and old business, or possibly a private self. Now, this aspect is exact on the 17th of the month. However, we're going to be feeling this, right, because these are big, slow-moving planets between the 12th and the 22nd. So there's actually more of a window period here. With Jupiter in this sextile, there seems to be a big break that occurs for a lot of you Gemini people, where a sudden change in fortune for the better when it comes to either your own personal economy or your status, your career, your field, what you are doing for the world, that allows you to completely change roads or change lanes to get back into alignment with an aspiration, a goal, or a desire that you have not shared with the general public, or possibly something that you have never allowed to see the light of day. Now, this could be something deeply personal, or this could be something that you aspire to do as a career, as a job, as a sense of contribution to the mark you want to make on the world. This could be going back years. Maybe this is something that we did used to do, or we did aim for, or we did aspire to, but something happened, it got dropped, we weren't allowed to finish it, big life events, big changes, new people, or possibly it was something that, again, never got to see the light of day. But because of this big break with Jupiter in the 10th house, it's suddenly not only feasible, but it's actually getting that wealth, it's getting that abundance, it's getting that power to come back to life or be reinvented into something all the more substantial. Let's move on to lunations, right? We always wrap up with talking about the new moons and the full moon of the month. So the new moon of the month actually occurs on the 1st. So it basically covers the first half of February, and this is a new moon in Aquarius, in your 9th house of higher education, government, legal proceedings, travel, culture, your reach, and spiritual path and practice. And it looks like with the new moon here, a lot of you Gemini people are getting a chance to move into a completely new sense of self and home in either your field, your education, or possibly finally find yourself a new sense of home in a new community, professionally, spiritually, or academically. With this new moon, you could be actually setting your sights on making a major transition or a major move down the road because you're making a whole new name for yourself, and that's actually a big part of this as well. You're making a whole new name for yourself with some kind of new agreement, some kind of new promise, some kind of new alliance, or possibly even something that is also quite lofty, not quite yet fully materialized or realized, is going to have its day as well. And this does change the course of the rest of your year. This may be a big break alongside what we see later in the month with that Jupiter sextile Pisces, that may require a lot of you Gemini people to reconsider some of the continuities you've been holding up. 5-year plans, 2-year plans, all of that. What if something superior overwrote those in the best of ways possible? A lot of new beginnings in your 9th house of reach, striking and, finding and claiming new territory could make that so. When it comes to the full moon of the month, we've got a full moon in Leo, your 3rd house of communications, pacts, promises, commitments, right? Anything where you have a lot of entanglements, whether it's in paperwork or just, again, certain agreements with your peer group. A full moon in Leo is a chain breaker. It's a cord cutter. And we're getting a chance in the second half of the month to break with some kind of attachment, commitment, or contract that has limited our movement, limited our potential, or limited our ability to commit to a major transformation, such as what we saw with the new moon, or possibly even with that Jupiter sextile Uranus energy. Something that has been attached to you, or you have been attached to, or have been bound to, is getting cleared in the second half of the month, creating a bit of a sense of a jailbreak for the Gemini people, but in the best of ways possible. So that is what I've got for you all. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And should you ever wish to get a session with me, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.